Family built. Family built.
Do you know what time it is?
It's about them refuses.
President Bill. On the block. Christy D. Turn it up. Good afternoon to my Maximum Radio family. This is your girl Christy D on a wonderful Monday afternoon. Today's On the Block poll question asks, are you on board with the extension of the state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago? Hit us up on the WhatsApp, give us your views and your opinions here on the block on Maximum Radio.
President.
The views and opinions expressed on the block are not the views and opinions of Maximum Radio and its affiliates. Just so you know. Good afternoon, my Maximum Radio family. This is your girl, Christy D, here on the block. And oh my God, it's raining, but the block is hot. President Beer, are you in tune to what's taking place?
I said like I'm a puppy. I said like I'm a puppy. Yes, good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. It's your boy, Golden Songs. We in the place with Christy D on a, wait, the weather just changed on a wet Monday afternoon.
I'm seeing a few persons asking, did you feel it?
Yeah.
Apparently, the earth. I don't know if anybody else felt it. I didn't feel
I
it.
didn't feel like it.
But
So.
I'm not doubting that it happened. Because I was seeing some reports that some shaking took place over the weekend and whatnot. So it's very possible. So if you're anywhere feeling the earth shaking, it's not you. It's actually shaking. Okay?
Let's stay safe. So,
on the lips, on the tip of the tongue of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we're hearing and we're talking about the possible extension of the state of emergency. So Trinidad and Tobago's state of emergency will be extended for another 3 months. The move has already been met with objection from opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who is calling on the government to provide the scientific data for this extension.
right.
Parliament will be convened from its recess on Wednesday, August 25th to approve the motion to be moved by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. So again, Trinidad and Tobago's state of emergency is in the works to be extended for another 3 months. So let's look at the timeline. On May 15th, our president, Miss Paula May Weeks, the Honorable Paula May Weeks, declared that a state of public emergency exists in Trinidad and Tobago. On May 24th, a motion was brought to the Parliament to extend the state of emergency for 3 months.
All right.
It was passed with a simple majority vote in the House of Representatives only. That first 3-month extension is due to expire midnight, August 29th. After this second extension, which would be a total of 6 months, if the government sees the need for a further extension, then it will require the support of the opposition and the independent benches, as a 3/5 majority of both the House of Representatives and the Senate are necessary.
Right.
So we decided to ask you, our loyal listeners and Maximum Radio family,
Right.
are you on board with an extension of the state of emergency?
Right.
So we put forward the poll this afternoon during the course of the day and persons responded. So we just want to play a few clips as to some of the feedback that we got.
The government has made it clear their intention to extend the state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. And they don't need much to do it, just a simple majority. So once all the government MPs agree, your rights are suspended for another 3 months. That tells a very interesting thing about this whole idea about democracy being by the people and for the people, because it was about 320,000 people voted for the PNM government in the last election. And that's less than a quarter of our population. And they chose a group of people that now have the power to suspend the rights for the entirety of our population. And even the group of people who chose them can't do anything to stop them now. The power of the vote. This is an emergency, though. A pandemic is going on. A virus is spreading all around the world. So serious measures will be taken. But that doesn't mean that we cannot question the logic of these measures. So what exactly is the reason for extending the state of emergency? Weren't we able to handle the pandemic last year with no vaccines and less knowledge about this new virus and no state of emergency? So are you telling me this year, when Trinidad may be set to have more vaccines than we need, that we wouldn't be able to handle it without an S.O.E? If we look back mid to late May when this state of emergency was first called, our 7-day average was going up the road to 500. Now it's going down somewhere 100s and trending downwards. And I think that matters. If I was drowning and you clubbed me over the head to drag me out to safety, okay, that's understandable. But if I'm on the beach now gasping for air and you're still whacking me on the head, I'd want to know why. And no, I'm not saying that we are safe from COVID now, but would we be safe from it after 3 more months of an S.O.E? And let's suppose the very likely scenario that after 3 months, the situation is very similar to the way it is now, and COVID-19 is still around doing its thing. What would we be doing then? I'd like someone who's planning the S.O.E to answer that. If after 3 more months of a state of emergency, people are still becoming infected and are still dying, and you cannot extend the state of emergency again, what would the policy be then? And maybe if you could answer that and tell us what we'd be doing then, probably that should be what we're doing now.
So that excerpt that we just played would have been a contribution from a Nathan Springer on TikTok, right? Because, everybody's using every platform available to them to be able to view their opinions, express their concerns, and ask their questions. So Mr. Springer raised a lot of valid points as to the possibility of or the impending extension of the state of emergency. During the course of the day, we asked the question, and in tallying the responses that we got thus far, 80% of those who responded said no, they are not on board, and a meager 20% said that yes, they are on board with an extension of the state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. Beer, President Beer?
Yeah, well,
how are you feeling?
Me personally, I am not on board. I see it as unnecessary. I get that and I have to agree with the clip that it really would board a state of emergency wouldn't really add to the effectiveness of fighting COVID. I don't agree with it because it would help to further constrict the economy.
That's the point that you're seeing a lot of persons are bringing up with regards to it. Now, in the beginning of it all, when we were put under the state of emergency and the curfew implemented, we would have also had lockdowns in effect alongside the curfew. And that math helped rationalize it for me as to the importance or the relevance of a state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
I form part of the 80% that does not agree with extending the state of emergency in isolation. Right. Because if you're opening up all the other industries and we are out and about in abundance, Sunday to Sunday, sun up to sundown, simply going in hard with that curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. to me is not going to have the desired result that you're probably looking for.
It really
isn't making very much sense.
It juxtaposes a position where you're saying then that the virus is spread at night. So I need to lock down the place from 9.
So we understand that the concept behind the lockdown is that it would reduce the time for contact, thus reducing the spread. However, I do not think that a curfew being implemented on its own is going to have that effect. When we had the different industries closed off and you're saying this section of the population needs to stay indoors, stay in their bubbles, stay away from high traffic areas and things like that, you're not going out to work, this isn't operational and whatnot, in conjunction with the curfew, I got it, right? And many of you, all layman citizens, would have gotten it as well. But when you're open everywhere, and the parish and the parish could go about their merry little business on a regular basis, and then you're still telling me curfew, you've lost us.
Yes.
Right? You've lost us. So one of the responses with regards to the impending extension brought up the issue of traffic.
All right.
Now, with regards to at least one or two of the persons that were okay with the extension,
All right.
one issue they brought up as it pertains to the traffic is that, especially from the south area, persons are encountering great difficulties because of the fact that the curfew ends at 5 a.m. and persons would then now have to put it out the road, basically, to get to their place of business or workplace. You have now created the very jam that you were trying to avoid.
The reality is, I used to work in Port of Spain and I live in Faizabad, and to come out, your time is 4 o'clock.
Right.
Your time to move is 4 o'clock. Other than that, you in real trouble.
So one piece of feedback that we got was maybe they could adjust the curfew.
And I want to believe they may be doing that. I could be wrong. I still against it.
Right? Because at this juncture, we can't even try to anticipate what it is that they have in their minds.
It's futile.
What they are planning to do. But that was just one. If it had to extend, maybe we could look at that element.
Yeah,
right? Probably adjust it from 8 p.m.
From 9 p.m. From 9 p.m.
To start a little earlier so that it could lock off in terms of reopen.
I say if you adjusted curfew from 10, give at least 10 to 4.
10 to 4, but then...
Yeah, give it that.
Then we ask actually, what is the point?
No, I this is me. I am, as I said, the person say, I know what a S.O.E is. Now, having a restrictive movement, I don't know if it's possible to do without an S.O.E. That's what I'm not sure of.
Right.
So, restricted movement is something that, all right, they have a case for imposing a curfew, right?
For health
purposes. But I don't see the need of having a S.O.E, a state of emergency, a crisis in the state to enforce movement of people. Because without this emergency, we could do that. The police could stop you. What you doing out this hour? Go inside.
Well, based on my Facebook memories, I had to really come to the realization that life is nothing but a cycle.
Right.
Because this time, some years ago, we were under a limited state of emergency.
Yeah, that was under the Kamla,
regime,
regime,
right? Where it is that we weren't gonna have any independence celebration, no fireworks of independence.
Only fireworks busting is
big mad.
Only fireworks busting is yes, I remember that fella. That's the same fella was looking who said that we don't need no grand piano, no Bossinger. We need Dantal. That I remember that politician. That was when they came up with the word hotspots.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, so that was August 2011.
Yeah.
Right? Life ain't nothing but a cycle.
Yes.
Because we were under curfew for independence. Right? The irony of it all is that we lost our freedom while we celebrated our freedom.
Yeah.
Right? And it seems that we're going to be doing the same thing. What is this? 10, 11 years later?
Yeah. But my point is, in the height of the pandemic, we didn't have any celebrations last year because we was in the panic mode.
Pick a thing.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the politicians keep saying that this is something that's going to be with us for a long time. Why then not try to
live with it?
Work around. Okay, so we did the lockdown thing.
Operation.
Right. We did the lockdown thing. We're not going back to that because we're going to live with this virus. So let's do this. So everybody needs to do this. And we work towards getting as normal or as close to normal as possible. Not imposing. Because when you impose this lockdown, all right, okay, let me just say, for the sake of argument, they get it 3 months. And 3 more months. In November the 11th or the 20-something, I think, is the last day, right? when that date come, what you're saying they're going to do? You're going to say everything is everything. So then when everybody say,
after that?
I'm fed up.
Because you're not going to get the support in the opposition for a further extension. That's going to be it.
That's
You're
for
going
sure.
to have played all your cards.
So when everybody jumping out, what is the situation?
Right. So one of our loyal listeners responded when she identified no,
right.
she's not on board with the extension. Mind you, she is also part of the first responders.
Right.
She said basically flat out, I want to wear the mask. I want to wash my hands. I want to social distance. I want to sit down at a bar or restaurant.
Right.
I want to be vaccinated. I want to be operating after 9 p.m. because COVID is not going anywhere. I want to live with COVID. I want to exist with it. Let me stop all of this.
Let's learn to
Blessed
live
evening to
right?
all.
Because at this point in time, we're seeing
On
that
that
there are some riots in Australia. Jamaica has gone under a full lockdown. America
Blessed evening
keeps
to
on
all.
having lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. Right? So those who may have jumped out in the earlies when their numbers went down a bit, they are now suffering the consequences of those.
And I get we taking a preemptive strike as to not to happen in Trinidad here. But come on. I mean I don't want to jump on myself and say this, but I believe so that we have been a model for a lot of countries, because it could have been crazier here. It could have been crazier, but the government made some correct decisions. We get both. Right. The population decided and took heed with the warnings, and it's commonplace now. I mean, it is no longer so much of a fight to wear a mask.
Right.
I mean
it's law.
Yeah.
Because the easiest way to get Trini to do something is impose a fine. Right? And it's either they live with it and they put on the 500 to the side.
Right.
Or they decide 500 is too much, Keith, you ain't getting my money, and let me do what it is that you're saying to do. So.
Right. So.
The pushback has been minimized.
I don't see the need for such a draconian measure. I don't see the need for that.
Right. You have a voice note
from Steve, one of the Maximum Radio family. He left a voice note, and let me see if I can play it. Let me see if I can cue it up. Right, cue it up and play it.
Blessed evening to all. On that question about the extension of the S.O.E, well, basically I am sort of split down the middle in them, and that answering that question is kind of yes and no answer, because I just want to know the reason really, behind the extension of the S.O.E. If it's for probably the crime situation where probably murder rates maybe a little low because of the S.O.E, I might support it in that sense. But if it's for the COVID situation, I feel I've supported it because I do feel it might make much of a difference with the COVID situation. So I say I want to find out what is the reason why it is they intend to extend the S.O.E in that sense. Everybody have a blessed day. Steve P.
Yeah, so that's the voice of the people right there, basically. We confused as to what is the reason
and why
behind the extension.
Yeah.
And if it is that you're looking for the support of the people, you had to break it down for the
people. Well, I mean, if you're going to at least everybody is cocked now. We want to hear what is the rationale for this move. I mean, as Steve rightly say, it's been a tool in crime fighting, and we see where yes it can be, because it eliminates a lot of the red tape and the bureaucracy, but that in itself cannot be the way we operate. That the only way we could find murderers and killers is by suspending everybody
right.
Yeah, so then
to get to the field.
Yeah, then don't do that. Just have an army and done. Just have an army. No constitution, no civil liberties, and run it as a full military state.
Right.
Yes, and so
the Attorney General Faris Alwari told the Express that the extension was in the works, basically. That was during the course of last week.
All right.
The decision was taken to trigger a further extension for a period not exceeding 3 months as the Constitution permits in Section 10, he said. Bearing in mind that they only need a simple majority, let's be real, that's just all he...
Yeah, I just come to work Wednesday.
Right, so Wednesday, come to work Wednesday. So
Yeah.
come Wednesday, they will put that into effect. He identified that some of the driving factors that assisted them in coming into this decision included the fact that the two primary regulations that are in existence are both specifically tailor-made and designed to assist the management of the pandemic and in that careful balance between lives and livelihood. On the one hand, the state of emergency regulations number 2, that is the larger side of the regulations that provides for the regulation of businesses being permitted to open in the time frames in which they are allowed to operate and the usual measures that you are now accustomed to, he said. With regards to the vaccination regulation, he said the second important regulation is the state of emergency vaccination regulation, which allows for the broadening of personnel authorized by law to administer vaccines, including dental assistants, medical interns,
All right.
etc.
All right.
So he noted that Trinidad and Tobago is in the stage of vaccination rollout with a significant supply of various vaccines, including Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Sinopharm, and Johnson & Johnson being available. So the rollout of vaccination policy meeting needles into arms and management of the COVID, whilst the government is opening the economy, there's a epidemiological cycle after cycle, right? It's critical at this point that they maintain the regulations, he says, largely because they have to be as productive and as efficient as possible with the rollout of the vaccines as it pertains to the opening of businesses.
Right.
And we know that the Delta variant is lurking.
Right.
Right? So the Delta variant is not the predominant strain here, but where Miss Weir passed, it coming.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True.
So he's saying we need to make sure we don't see the exponential spikes in community spread which the Delta variant could bring. And according to him, the only way to do that is to be as efficient as possible in the vaccination drive that is afoot, together with the reopening exercises that are rolling out week after week. One key element of the S.O.E is the imposition of a curfew. And for the past couple of months, much to our chagrin, Trinidad and Tobago has been under a 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. And the Commissioner of Police has the authority to vary these times by orders, as was done during the few public holidays
that we had,
came up. But the opposition leader is saying provide the scientific
Evidence.
data.
Yeah.
Anti-Camps
Yes.
is calling for the scientific data to be provided to the people.
The sunlight champion. No, I mean, we're in a sad place when the sunlight champion, the champion of the sunlight,
It's the logical
is
one.
the logical one. Let me call a spade a spade. Let me say what it is, right?
Where we going? So she called for scientific data to be provided to the people, as we are all concerned about the impact that the S.O.E is already having on a struggling economy.
Right.
And I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Nope.
Right? She's calling for there to be a focus on the matter because her initial reaction is, where's the science? Where's the data to support this extension? She's of the view that the government is yet to provide any data on the decision it makes. She's saying that they are operating on a very Vicky-Vi ad hoc day-by-day manner, but not presenting any hard facts as to what it is that they are doing, that it's actually having any positive effects, right? She's saying you continue to shut down the place, businesses are strapped, not opening people out of jobs. Are we even looking at that element of it? Because as much as we want to save the lives,
but this is
a
what
hungry man is still going to die just
this
as fast.
This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, All right. If we are at crisis mode where people dropping like flies, I hush my mouth and say, do all you need to do. Right? But we have to have been saying from the longest, from the day one, that we need to learn to live. And that's my thing. We were the very few country who was saying that. We were saying that we will have to learn to live with the corona, this thing not going. The vaccine is not a miracle cure, so don't look out for vaccine. So for me training the population into operating in a new format, in a new way we do things, we get the sinks. Everybody know the sink outside our business is a normal place. The hand sanitizer. The everybody
masks
wearing the mask
and the shield.
The shields.
There's a whole new industry that's open.
And that's what I'm saying. So, all right, it will come a time that we wouldn't need those things. We're not at that point now. We're not at that point right now. All right. So we learn now how to fight, because there's not only the vaccine is the way to kill the virus. The vaccine is an effective way, and it's a way that could help a wide majority of people lessen the curve, right? Yeah, we used to say back in the day. All right, but the reality is we are living with measles, and it is so-called eradicated. Smallpox is eradicated. We are living with the common cold, every variant of the cold that comes along. Anybody, Christy, who has a child knows about the common cold. Yes, your child run up in the morning, going to school, and come back with a snotty nose. And
correct.
Yeah, next morning and them jump and then mommy. Them about the business. We living with that. That's what we living with now. So let's be a little care for the small man, because I was listening to someone, Alexander, superintendent, and he was speaking about, well, look, I take a little lockdown and no, this is the reality. The reality is Alexander is a police officer. It has been for many years, right?
Knows nothing but
he is employed by the state.
This pandemic or high water. Salary
he have a salary coming in the month. Unless he do something, he money coming. Right? He has been working and is not affected by the lockdowns because of the job that he does. So his work as normal. It's basically. Mm-hmm. It's just you're working. Right?
Work nonetheless.
Your
rent is paid, your family is paid.
Your bills paid, the bank not calling you, the bank calling you for loan. The bank calling, hey, come and take some money. And you making statements such as, why look, I just take it down and pull it. Is money so important? Money is important for those who don't have money. If you have money, there's always talk that should be talk. Hey, money is not even. Yes, we know that. As a poor man myself, I know money is not the only thing that you need. You need love, but you also need a way to express that love. You need to show love to your kids by feeding them, by taking care of their needs.
That they're not in the rain as of right now.
So, so you shutting down, imagine hardware's closed, the company down, you have a leak in the roof, you can't get galvanized to fix it. And I mean,
you don't even have a bucket to catch the water.
Correct. I mean, when we do things like the S.O.E, and I'm bringing all this point, I'm not bringing it here. I'm bringing this point to say, to say, when you suspend the rights of a people, we now are the whims and fancies of a politician who could wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I want nobody wearing no green jersey in Trinidad and Tobago. Make it happen. That's the kind of power you wield. Yeah, that's the kind of power you wield with that S.O.E. And I have no love for that S.O.E thing. That's me. I've been told. So I am praying that good sense prevail. And
well, it's coming, I know.
No, I was more expecting a new law, a new legislation as it pertains to the COVID.
It's coming, boo, because all they need, as we said, is that simple majority. So it's just a matter of show up on Wednesday, let me do this.
Yeah.
So Trinidad and Tobago, prepare yourself. November it is.
Yeah.
So we already know that the opposition will not be in
Why? So that no opposition.
agreement with any further extension short of the members themselves dropping down from COVID, I can't see the opposition siding with the government to do an extension beyond November. So prepare yourself. As it stands, today saw the opening of personal services. So the spas, barbershops, hair and nail salons, etc. were able to open today. So congratulations and welcome back to the outside.
Yeah, man.
Right? All the
So
WhatsApp messages were already going through with the hairdresser. With the hairdresser letting you know you gotta make your appointment ahead of time. Only you alone could come.
Right.
You might have to send an email.
And this is what I'm saying. Instead of wasting on radio, hold on. Instead of wasting the taxpayers' money by going to get our next S.O.E, create legislation as it pertains to operating of businesses. One of the problems that Trinidad and Tobago had is the ease of business in Trinidad was always a hamper for small businesses and medium-sized businesses to progress. It was designed for the monopolies and the international companies. The small business are always suffering. To get things on the port, you gotta go by a broker. For the broker to do this, the money raising, you have nobody to go to. Right.
And then you had to pass that course on.
Correct. To the cost. Correct. And the consumer have no redress. Create the redress. Try to make the lives of the citizens, your burgesses, try to make their lives better. And one of the things is creating a clear guidelines as to how to operate within this
new normal.
Yeah, new normal we have.
Right.
You understand? Have a standard. So you have a business that is enclosed or open. Use the science according to Sunlight. Use the science and come up with real workable regulations that we all could benefit from, because SARS is proliferating through the Asian continent, and they operating as normal. We heard about SARS and was frightened in the West here, and SARS is a thing. People,
it's real.
Yeah, it's real where people live in. So we need to wake up as a people. We need to wake up and focus on for a long time we've been focusing on and here I'm saying, my profession, I'm a DJ. You can't stifle one sector of the community, of the society, and expect everybody to say, well, yeah, I walk in. Okay, so how I feed my kids? Is that no way to play? Is that no gatherings? So nobody calling me to do no little wedding or do no little
calling a DJ for 10 people.
For 10 people, no.
That's
so,
a flash.
No, let me get real. Let me be 100 in the real, yeah. It I know our next scene up is parties. Parties out of the question, right? By a little bar, the bars don't open or not open. It doesn't look like they open in a hurry. So that whole sector, that whole entertainment sector, what is to be done? Nothing. But I want when you want to have a function, you're calling, come in and sing and play a pan, play a guitar. Come on. Let me don't do that.
So it's not just about people wanting to party and zest and all these kind of things. There are actually small men that are being negatively affected.
There's a whole economic system. That is a whole microcosm. That whole entertainment is in Trinidad and Tobago here and it is growing. We've seen it with the Trinidad sector. There are a lot of young people who getting involved in the music industry because I have a bar and Christy just do a little thing. She have a popular song that played. Come through, Christy. Come through this Friday now, and we eat our food. I pay you. Patrons buy drinks in my place. We live.
It's all connected.
You understand what I'm saying? Right. So
in case you missed it,
just today
we welcomed back onto the operational floor the spas, barbershops, hair and nail salons. We also saw the reopening of the real estate industry and domestic services, that being housekeeping and landscaping and whatnot, right? So all of that began as of today. But the Minister of Health expressed concern over unvaccinated workers, for example, the housekeepers, the gardeners, barbers, etc., providing services or entering personal spaces to work. He actively encouraged the workers to get vaccinated.
Right.
So the first tranche of Johnson & Johnson vaccines will be distributed to residents in coastal and rural areas. The minister said that communities like Las Cuevas, Matlot, Kernahan, Guayguayari, Moruga, Cedros, Los Cedros, Charlottesville, and Speyside will be among those getting priority for the one-dose vaccine.
Right.
Regarding the ongoing rollout of the Pfizer vaccine for children between the ages of 12 and 18, he said the health ministry will be reaching out to special institutions for the hearing or the visually impaired, etc., to offer express service for vaccination. So apparently there was a consensus at a stakeholder meeting to offer the Pfizer vaccine to pregnant women from their second trimester. And that rollout for that vaccination plan is expected to take place in the first week in September. All the while, 3 children remain hospitalized in the parallel healthcare system with COVID-19, and they are thankfully in stable condition. Currently, there are 307 COVID-19 patients, inclusive of the 3 children at hospital. There are approximately 107 patients at step-down facilities. Principal Medical Officer Dr. Miriam Abdul Richard said there are very sick patients hospitalized with COVID-19. She said the ICU occupancy is high. It's at approximately 80%. Right? With the HDU occupancy level at 48%. So we are still seeing our numbers pretty up there. Right? Persons are...
Well, a curfew work for that? Sorry to be so cynical.
Persons are still contracting. I know with seeing the numbers at a particular level, we might say we need to do something now to get it back down and whatnot before we overwhelm the healthcare system. But as I said from the beginning of this all, I don't think that a curfew in isolation
could work.
Will get the result that you're looking for, right? Outside of you looking to do or restart lockdowns, and you're sending a particular portion of the population home, as the Prime Minister had referred to it in the beginning. Curfew on its own, I can't see it. That could just be my limited range of view, but I'm not seeing it. So Trinidad and Tobago, this is our new reality. We will be in an extended state of emergency as of Wednesday when they go back to Parliament, and that will then take us to November. Does that mean that Christmas is going to be ham, lamb, and jam because they can't or won't be able to extend it beyond November? We don't know. But can we just demonstrate that we understand the assignment and continue to wash our hands, wear our mask, and watch our distance?
Yeah, man. So,
can we?
Let's do that. So, hey, we coming back. When we come back, there's some news. So, it's Gold and Sons, Christy D. We on the block.
President.
Check 1, 2. Good afternoon, Abby. Welcome. You're late, but you're inside. I hope you're staying dry.
I want to say good afternoon as well to the management staff of Bread and Butter.
Good afternoon,
located
Kiel.
out there in Champlain. Check them out on their social media pages where you can get their specialty bread ordered for delivery.
I still like bread.
And also you can pick it up at the 5th Street Market on the Avenue in Port of Spain.
Yes, ma'am.
Saying good afternoon to Naco Tech.
Easy, Naco.
Local supplier for all your Apple needs.
Yeah, I need a screen protector. Check me. Link me.
Well, needy boy.
Okay. I put myself in preparation for this lockdown coming.
Hey.
So
It's not a lockdown.
I need bread.
It's not a lockdown.
Hey, you never know.
You want your essentials. You
My
need bread. You need your apple.
Right. Good.
So then we move on to Boss and Bougie.
Boss and
'cause you
Bougie.
need your,
I need
your
a big
makeup.
face. I need a
You
big face.
You need a big face.
Boom, boom, boom. Look
Right.
good. Look the part.
Good luck with that. So we want to say good afternoon to everyone that took the time today to join us on the block
Yes,
as
ma'am.
we discussed our impending extension of our state of emergency.
Yeah, good afternoon, Steve Peters. How you go? Thanks
Good
for
afternoon
contribution,
to
man.
Cookie from
Easy Cookie,
Cookie's
man.
Mike.
Remember, every morning from 6 a.m., it's cookies at your morning coffee.
Yes, sir.
Today is Mocha Mondays. Tomorrow is Tea Time Tuesday. Hey, cookie, you know I get it. Brr, 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 brr. Boom, boom, boom. I'm coming to collect my hamper.
Surprise.
Boom, boom, boom. Do yourself. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to all the DJs and radio personalities
Yes,
here
ma'am.
on Maximum Radio. We know it's wet outside, so you're inside, logged on to Maximum Radio and here chilling
Yeah.
with us on the block.
Yes, man. Let me shout out. Hold on. Let me shout out. The Max Explosion team mash up the place Saturday, man. Wow. It was a kind of set. A kind of parang side. Start with DJ Links, ended up with VIC, Shalon Boss, and DJ Rebel. So big up the team. Saturday was crazy. And my dancing, man. So wow, Sally Rule. Maruga Posse, I apologize. I must say this one time. Maruga people, I love all you. Nice. I'm glad all you getting me strong, loud and clear, and all you locked on. Big up all yourself. Big up Hayden Williams. Vapor Wake Sport. Do your thing,
LNK
Chrissy.
Mini Mart.
LNK
Yes, sir.
Mini Mat. Do your thing. Do your thing.
So as we always keep our fingers to the pulse of what's taking place out there in the world, it would be remiss of me not to say good afternoon to Miss Shakari Richardson. She would have been the meme of the weekend.
Right.
Yeah? As sprinter Shakari Richardson returned to the track after not being allowed to compete at the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, she can. Yes.
Things didn't go as she hoped, but
Yes,
she's
she-
stressed that she ain't done. She ain't done.
You know what's
Right? She unfortunately finished last in a field of 9 runners in the 100 meters.
Sixth.
6 out of 6.
Six.
Sixth from
Yeah,
first.
but she bust up she mouth.
Right?
She had all the pundits in America
Yeah.
saying, why she didn't go with the
Shakari
Tokyo?"
been out here on social media.
Mm.
If I don't know why he's humble was a person.
Yeah.
If my humility is missing was a person,
Yeah.
twas Shakari Richardson
yeah.
over the
She
weekend.
bust up she mouth.
Right? So she finished. She finished
Ooh.
ninth out of 9 runners in the 100 meters and withdrew from the 200 meters at the Prefontaine Classic on Saturday. Where you mentioned she came 6th. This is when she passed up she mouth and said she's the 6th fastest woman.
Right.
Right? But she came
Ninth.
9th
No, yeah.
out of 9.
I saw one of the memes that make me laugh was a major hype meme where she grandmother called she, girl, next time don't be busting up your mouth
Calm yourself. Calm
call her
yourself.
and call her we name. Okay?
Yeah.
We love you, but you don't bust up your mouth too.
Because home girl been tweeted,
Yeah.
she been putting things on Instagram. Oh,
Yeah, she
they're
make it look
ready.
like- yeah, she make
she
it look
drove
like-
her, she weaved.
She make it look like
She
them
was-
Jamaicans
yeah.
and them is not them lucky I wasn't in Tokyo.
And she
Ah,
cursed, she bust up she mouth on the mic, check the stats, you know what I mean? I'm not out yet. Check the
Yeah.
stats, check the stats. Check her seat. Have
have
a
a
seat.
seat.
Right?
Caribbean woman. Big up
So,
all yourself, Caribbean woman. Chrissy.
Congratulations to the
up
Jamaican
yourself.
runners who
Yes, ma'am.
would have competed and got their relevant places higher than 9.
Yeah.
And hopefully this experience and the subsequent clapbacks and consequences will help Shakari to find that humility.
Problem is she off the herb.
The herb. The
So
herb.
she
the herb.
wild.
The
She get
herb.
wild. That's the problem.
That's what I say. It is ever so clear that the herb is not helping her.
Yeah.
to be speedy. So maybe she didn't deserve to be so harshly reprimanded because it is ever so clear. She ain't had no advantage there.
She lacking some
Right?
Yeah.
But my phone full of memes. She became meme queen, sticker queen. Everybody, I want my next relationship to be my. And then I picture Shakari is that the ninth? I don't understand.
I've been married, Shakari.
Right?
Yes.
Good afternoon to DJ VIC and
Easy.
DJ Cool Moody. Everybody
Easy.
locked on.
Yeah, man.
So as we look outside and see what the weather is doing to us, just
Right.
bear in mind, because there was an earthquake, a light earthquake on Saturday.
Before you go, let me stop you. Remember that coming up right after is Insights with Deborah and GQ.
There was a light earthquake on Saturday, and then there was another one during the course of today. So bearing in mind that, we are ideally situated right in the midst, in the thick of things where we do experience earthquakes and whatnot, just be prepared. There are a lot of flash floodings taking place all over the nation, that being both Trinidad and Tobago due to the inclement weather. So please batten down your hatches. When you see this rain ease up and your drains clear up, make sure and clear out your drains and whatnot to allow the waters to be able to flow freely so that you aren't harshly affected by what is taking place. I mean, there is only so much that each one could do, but if each one does enough, maybe the community within itself won't be as dramatically affected as what we are seeing out here on these streets.
Roger that.
Bearing in mind as well that we will be having an extension to the state of emergency. This would just be a gentle reminder.
Okay, Keith.
Well, as we say,
Okay,
you be a member of parliament and then show up for work on Wednesday. You have to be one, inflicted with COVID. All right, granted, but two, you need to be in ICU, not to show up to work on Wednesday, August 25th, if you are a member of the parliament under the Keith Rowley administration. So we know the extension coming.
Christopher know himself.
Bearing in mind that is what is happening, citizens, please remember that for right now, the curfew hours are 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. As such, you need to get yourself indoors no later than 9 p.m. every night. Persons requiring emergency assistance during curfew hours are asked to contact the Operational Command Center using either 480-2000, 612-3876, 684-5730, or 684-5076. There are multiple other numbers that you could use. Those are just a few. You can find them on the social media pages of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Do not find yourself out on the people them streets during curfew because the fee is still cool 10,000. Right? Within the last 24 hours, 14 persons were arrested for a breach of curfew. 29 were charged with face mask tickets. 7 were charged for the breach of public health regulation arrests. And unfortunately, we have seen 116 police officers testing positive for COVID-19.
Right.
So, while we have persons out there on the front line who have to do their duty, let us as citizens do our part and try to adhere to the laws and the regulations that have been put in place for our benefit.
All right. So, as we having all these adverse weather situation. Please remember the disaster management units in your area. I'm gonna read out one or two of the areas. Penal Debe Regional Corporation is 800 PDRC or 800-7372. Superior Regional Corporation is 800-4SRC or 800-4772. And the Tobago Emergency Management Agency is 211. All right. So one of the advice is do not try your best as not to go into, drive into, or walk into any flood waters. Please keep away from the flood waters. Stay dry. If you have to, you have to, but try your best not to do it.
Try
Nice?
not to overestimate, underestimate.
Yeah, you know that was one.
what it is that's
That was
going
one of the
on out
memes
there.
that went around. Also, the guy that got his vehicle stuck in the
With his pregnant
with his
wife
pregnant wife.
in
Yeah.
the front seat.
You don't have to be taking those chances. You don't have to
Yeah.
be taking those chances,
Try
right?
to avoid the flood waters as much
As
as possible.
much as possible, right?
So that we will be able to see another day. So
Right.
as we wrap up here on the block, up next would be the Insights show with Miss Deborah Francis and GQ Maximum. That starts at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So stay tuned for that. So as we wrap up on the block, in the meantime, in between time, according to my co-host, I just have a few little reminders. Just a small reminder for this weather.
Right.
To all my people who seen the rain falling outside, just remember, milk and Pampers are expensive.
Goodbye, y'all. Tomorrow.
Family built.
Do you know what time it is?
It's an all them refuses.
President Girl.
On the block, on the block, on the block. The Christy D. Turn it up.
The more we sow them love, yeah.
This is the Golden Songs. Golden Songs. Golden Songs.
On the block, on the block, on the turn it up.
Maximum radio.
We are just chilling on the block with Golden Sounds and Chrissy D.
Maximum radio.
Culture driven.